Our sports aren't really going to be looking for a for a TI team yet, so there's not really a hot take right now.
There you go.
We started with our draft, though,
Yeah.
at least to get us out of this hole before it goes any deeper into shaming teams.
More orgs.
It's like, you orgs, you're doing terrible, you're not playing properly.
Well, they're doing great. Don't worry.
Wipe that sweat away. But, okay, has OG.Seed started to start off on the correct foot in what they've been banning out here?
They ban out the Kotal and the Bounty Hunter. I
Instant.
believe it is the right response. There's still the problem of perhaps that bristleback, but you can't really just ban out. You can ban out pretty much 4 heroes of their draft, but usually how things tend to work is you try to see that centerpiece of their draft and you take that out. I think really Kotal was the centerpiece,
Exactly, yeah.
but Bounty Hunter did look really strong as well.
I think, we've seen, countless games where NiP, they've either had Coddle or the bounty component, and then that's where they pushed off. I think right now, the Mars is now, I think, Mars Phoenix or Mars Willow are now their kind of the B tier, or like their next step for NiP to move to. So I wouldn't be surprised. Do they first pick it? Probably not. Oh, they go for the Pangler instead. Sure.
Yeah, Pango is valued by both of these
Saberlight
teams.
hero normally.
Saberlight on NiP on OG, I think Z-Freak played it as well.
Yeah.
I thought they played on position 4 and offlane too. And I think Pango is pretty solid, fits your team very well. It can be played on 3 and 4, brings a lot of utility, doesn't need a lot of farm. Just a standard good flex opening.
Yeah, I think the nicest thing that happened to Pango was the change in itemization that players went for. Like, you used to see just the Javelin rush, right?
Yeah, Javelin, Maelstrom, Javelin, Maelstrom, and then, I mean, first and foremost, it was only Javelin. Then it was like 4 Javelins, remember?
And then obviously after that, that's when he first came out. And then it was like, we need 1 Javelin.
Yeah.
But it's still, I like the fact it's more, you go for utility, maybe go for Vlad, you're just more, you exist within the game, you're actually a hero, and...
They answered the hero instantly with Grimstroke because you have that Soulbind to use against Rolling Thunder, which is pretty nice. And there's many heroes that combo really well with Grimstroke that you can now pick.
And you're mirroring out the wave clear right now. So in terms of setting the tempo of the game, Pango, Grimstroke both do the same thing in terms of pushing out waves.
They go for the monkey again.
Okay.
Okay.
I mean, it's a decent laner versus him. If it is still the safe lane, it's also good with the Grimstroke. And it's a counter later on to Meepo in the lane if they decide to pick it. But
I see this Monkey King pick as they're just setting themselves up for the last pick. I think you just pick the Monkey, flex between 2 lanes, nothing too special. It is like an OG style draft at this point. They're not really showing everything, and now NiP respond with most likely Era's Pugna. It's been a staple again in this team. If it's available, they'll normally go for it, and yeah, nothing really else to say about that.
So what would you say for OG on this one, given that they played it with the Monkey King last time? It's going to be a bit of comfort coming in here as well?
I think for this series, or this draft especially, it's just more of like it simplifies their draft.
Okay.
They're not putting themselves into a corner, they're keeping everything open. And you can see from NiP's pick right now, you got Pugna, Pangolier. Both these heroes are, like Pangolier obviously wants to be in the back lines, he wants to take that big team fight. Pugna doesn't really put up much of a defense. If you jump him, he's dead. So NiP, they have a bit. It's like,
just like that. Just somebody's dead. That's the game over.
like, so one hero is going to be dying over there, the other is going to be dying over there.
Yeah.
Great start of the draft. That's how you coach your teams now, I see.
that's what I'm saying. This isn't good. Like,
He's like not trying to sugarcoat anything. Straight facts like, he will die.
Yeah.
You did your job. You served the purpose.
Yeah, but this is the main point I'm getting at is OG.Seed, their lineup. It's like they're setting themselves up for this beautiful, well-rounded draft. Whereas NiP, they've got this more. They have to play well. They have to execute, and I think we
are only two picks in. That's true. So they can round it up somehow so that it looks good, right?
That's what I'm saying. They have to set
T-Gov, what you do is our typical very British thing, right?
Yep.
We talk a lot. We say a lot of words. But a lot of those words aren't necessary.
But I believe
what Lizard was doing there was just shortening down your waffle.
Just trimming the edge.
Just like, you know what? Done with this for now. Let's keep it going.
Okay, Nyx Assassin again banned out. Pugna is in the game, so you definitely want that out. Also, we didn't mention the Ember Spirit. Just your casual bans.
It's banned for OG.Seed. It's pretty hard, I think.
There's so many things that you should think about if you're OG.Seed right now.
Yeah.
Do you still consider Bristleback really strong? Like, you just picked Monkey into that Bristle and you lost. So it could happen again.
Okay, are you concerned about it?
Yeah.
Could be
Actually,
in
I
their
don't
mind.
know if they'd ban it out here though. I think they're more like when you think of Charlie's heroes right now, like you've still got obviously TB's very much
TB,
available.
Naga, PL,
Yeah.
and Bristle. That's it, right?
Wait, what?
You can
Chen got
definitely
this
play
far?
Opa.
I did not know that.
I mean, yeah, like for real, even in the first game, Chen wasn't banned out. It wasn't touched. It wasn't banned, it wasn't picked. And the hero is crazy strong. Brings you a lot of that tempo. And now you can see this Pugna working in a team that has the Chen as well.
So this is where it starts to become more well-rounded.
Yeah,
Maybe
it's
he is
not really,
clutching here.
it's not really super well-rounded.
Not
It
really
has-
you've not got that guy who wants to stand up front right now. 2 picks left to pick that guy. But I don't know if it will happen.
You do have a lot of creeps that can stand in front at least,
that
and
is
you
true.
have a lot of pushing potential. You are playing into a Nerd Spirit and Grimstroke,
Yep.
and these two heroes don't need anything but
It's a
levels.
classic combo.
Yeah.
You know, the roll, Inkswell, and laning phase. Like they have
Roll.
such a. If they put the Monkey safe lane, it's such a strong lane. Like as soon as Monkey hits level 3, it's hard to play that lane.
Yeah, pretty much what you can resort to is creep skipping. I don't think it's very
Go for the
difficult thing.
bristle.
They go for the bristle, but it's on OG. It's on OG.Seed.
They were like, we had enough of being
Mysteries
done by
cannot
it in the
protect
first game. Go pick it for
themselves.
ourselves, you know.
So this TA has been picked up, and now will this be a Monkey versus TA mid matchup for them? They could do that, right? And then put the Bristle safe lane, but you can also put the Bristle off as well.
What would you choose?
I'd probably just put the Monkey mid, Bristle
Right.
safe lane, and just last pick your off laner. Whatever you need to really win the game.
TA doesn't necessarily lose that matchup, but even if the lane does go poorly, you can always go to the jungle.
Yeah, and then suddenly you
cover.
skyrocket your back. Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't
it's
think
still
this
fine.
is too much cause for concern. This matchup's been played so many times that it's just Tier will find farm, Monkey will.
As
be able
long
to
as
throw.
this Monkey King plays the same role that he did in that last game,
Yeah.
dies a little bit less, but it doesn't matter even in this case. In this case, as long as he's just a playmaker, right? He doesn't have to go late. He doesn't have to be your true win condition because Bristleback is going to be very happy to fill that role. Even though right now, even Bristle, he just needs a couple of items and he's online.
Still looking for that NiP hero that rounds out their draft to be the beefy boy. Like there's right now TA with Deso, Blink, BKB could become that. You just start the fight and then you have to look at it. But it's so hard when TA goes in. Your Pugna Chen is so vulnerable. You have like it's Bristleback to run to the back line, Earthspirit on the back line. It's so easy for OG.Seed to just
Not a lot of
Break
team
apart
fight, not
NiP
a lot
fight.
of reliable stuns coming from NiP.
Yep, exactly that. It's like they're so reliant on playing well as that kind of death ball timing lineup that if they like, it's kind of like what OG.Seed did in the first game, right? Like they have to have such a good start. They have to really control the map, have better vision advantage, take away those early tier 1 towers, secure Roshan, play off Aegis, and then with that point, sure. Then it's
I knew this was coming.
Oh.
I was sure they're not gonna go your way, and they'll just go with a combo that matches TA with some extra minus armor, right? Do I love it?
It's very
They don't-
fragile though.
it's
That's
very-
the point.
it's very
When I
fragile.
was wittering at the start about how fragile it is, we've still ended up with the fragility of this draft, right?
The squishiness is still there.
They don't
Yeah.
really have a lot of catch for this Weaver, which is something that's all right. Also, if you do manage to snowball out of control, it will be very difficult for OG.Seed to come back and catch
Okay.
up. But then again, they're so fragile, like he just said.
They just go for like a cheeky little. Actually, I don't think you can go Darkseer here. Darkseer will just roll over these guys. Chen might dumpster in lane if he gets the right creep, but you have a Surge Bristleback, get into your backlines. Like they have no real stuns to stop him running at you.
Yeah,
It's
you
always
the
gonna have a
Darkseer and
solid
Spirit
lane.
as well. That's pretty
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
It's a decent option for them.
I think
Depending on how they even want to lane these heroes right now, we're assuming that the Bristleback will be position 1, right?
correct, yes.
Yeah.
And they're looking for an offlane. That's why, yeah, I think.
But no, they
Okay.
spin it around completely.
Hey, we got a new hero. Welcome. This
But
is a.
you got the little beefy boy, another one though for
We like the beefy
OG.Seed.
boys.
All right. So this should be our TA matchup, right?
Yeah, this is going to be the TA matchup.
And
I think
Bristleback will be the offlane then with Monkey King safe lane.
Sure.
That's weird though. Viper, I just don't see this hero ever. It's just dead at the
So
moment.
this has been a curveball for you guys, but does this give NiP the edge?
No, I think this is an OG.Seed draft. I think you have, when you look at who can buy, like, who buys Vessel on this Radiant team, how do you kill this Viper? You don't, like, sure you have the minus armor, which will obviously beat the Viper for sure. You get a casual plate mail, then suddenly you're back to normal. I think your lack of stuns will be your biggest handicap, even if you have a good start to the game. Even if you have 20 minutes, you've done all that. And you get to that high ground area, unless you like roll them over straight away, they're going to cut you through. And I think,
I agree as well. NiP is depending on this snowball kind of a push, but they're playing into a Grimstroke and Earth Spirit duo of supports that absolutely needs nothing. Even if their lanes do go poorly, just a couple of bracers, they can roll in with the levels. There's a lot of magic damage to stop that from happening.
I guess the only flip side to that, though, is OG.Seed, this Weaver, and this TA. If TA gets the early BKB, and then the Weaver just has a decent game, it's hard for them to lock down both these cores, right? Like, they don't have enough continued stun to actually
They don't have catch at all, if you think about it. Once they pick Weaver, we also stated that they don't really have catch for this hero, and that's what makes it good. But
So there is going to be a very strong timing from NiP, where TA and Weaver can just pop off, and it doesn't even matter if they catch your backlines, because these heroes should have already exploded someone else. It's just the issue of how quickly can this Viper and Bristleback accelerate to being tanky, and then it's like, even if you jump them, they're not dying.
It's so funny to see Chessie back to heroes such as Viper instead of, the flashy heroes.
Like, when was the last time we saw a Viper?
Yeah, never.
No, the heroes...
You guys are so amazed by it as well. Just like, why has this happened? Well, we're going to go to our commentators now. We've got Synderen and Suns fan there. It seems like Synderen's woken up. You had a good nap, mate?
Yeah, Synderen, you awake, buddy?
Yeah.
Why are you asleep, Synderen?
I don't know, man. Thanks. Why you got to do me like that? I was here the whole time.
I've only got multiple chances at this, mate. I had to kind of get it in while I could, and I want a nap, so...
It was Suns fan. It was a
Suns fan, but we don't.
Oh, there you go.
They're both.
Thanks, Carl. Thanks
got your Synderen, buddy.
Man, Synderen is such a slacker, honestly. I don't know why you guys keep hiring for these
Keep going with this, see? There you go. Just roll with it. I was correct the whole time.
Yeah, no, you're 100% correct. Synderen, what do you think of this draft? This Viper obviously countering the TA, at least in the laning stage. By the way, thanks to Toby for filling in. Big shout out to him.
Save the day.
Actually, you know what, guys? Maybe we should talk about something else since it is paused. Universe just retired. Did you hear about that? Did you see that?
Yeah, I just saw it.
Is that like a hard retirement or a soft retirement?
Two TI5 winners that have retired now in the last couple of days.
It's like, there's not a lot of tournaments right now because obviously they're locked away, so they could come back, that resurging.
Yeah, it's like the fake retirement. They say, "Oh, we've retired now because there's no tournaments," but then
I'm back.
I make a huge comeback.
They want that
What
Reddit
if they
post.
coordinated it? So in like 3 days, Samil retires, and then in 7 days, AEY retires, and then boom.
Solid.
And then after 5 years, PPD is like, I worked it out with AUI. He's gonna trust my drafts. We're gonna take him back.
Once Techies is back in the meta, then they can get back together.
Oh, it's actually starting to
the
get
glue.
playable now, it seems, which is very unfortunate. Let's not talk about that. That's really bad luck. Let's talk about Dota heroes instead of Techies.
Okay.
So, yeah, you brought up Viper. Okay. Is that a Dota hero? Actually. Yeah, it's very unusual. I would say, though, like, if you compare it to what happened in the last game and then you look at this draft, I think OG.Seed have some pretty nasty team fight here. And I'm a bit concerned with something T-Governor kept harping on here is, how does NiP enter a fight? Who's the front line? How do you get information? How do you get vision to start a fight off? Who takes the first hit? Because if it's Pango, and Pango gets killed, that's your team fight. So your frontliner is also your team fighter. And if it's only Chen creeps, I think you can play around that relatively easily. So this Radiant draft looks a little bit, how to say, it's also a bit lacking in the stun department, right? There's just so many maybes here. So it really needs good execution. But the damage is there. So.
Yeah, it'll be an interesting game, regardless of what you think, Synderen. This is game 2. You're supposed to laugh because people think I'm too mean to you. Just at least pretend laugh. Thank you. I appreciate that. The interesting thing. No, I actually love that a lot. The cool thing about this series is OG.Seed, of course, played Chicken Fighters the other day and 2-0'd them. I thought they were done with them. They cut off their heads, but they apparently were ninjas in disguise, otherwise known as pajamas. They just got picked up. I think it was literally yesterday. Is that not right?
Yesterday or the day before? It might be yesterday.
They get grandfathered into a tournament that they already qualified.
Oh yeah, you can appreciate
roster.
That's
Suns fan their way
S-tier Suns fanning right there. And if there's one guy who will appreciate that, it's the man himself. Great work, NiP.
Well done, guys. You guys strategized correctly, and you have qualified for yet another tournament. So well done. And they took game 1 despite losing the 2 games that we cast of them against this very same team.
Yep.
So off to a better start for sure.
Yeah, the
But
funny
you do
thing is in that
favor,
last game, it kind of
OG's
did
draft.
look like it was going to be another stomp, and then it suddenly just turned around. NiP had a much better idea there, but the early game went poorly for them again, and I'm a bit concerned if they lose their lanes every single game against this team. I don't think fighting your way back into this one will be as easy as the previous one. Your lineup this game is way more momentum dependent. Like you have,
Well, they won't have Bounty Hunter with Ags. That was amazing.
yeah, that did work. I don't know how you rate that Ags in your list, but probably pretty high.
It's good. I wouldn't say it's the best because it's a little bit unreliable, but they've improved it quite a bit over the last couple years as a courier is taken out in favor of the Bristleback. They're actually going to go on top of Era here. Not able to get the roll though. Era will walk away to safety. Yeah, it's pretty crazy because when they came out with it originally, it was just awful, right? The original Ags where it would just bounce back and forth between shurikens. But ever since they implemented the Janata, it is so crazy. Not only that, but the cast range applied to it as well makes it so much easier to actually just stay in the back. Because typically before you track people from long range while being invis, and you have to get kind of up close to shuriken, but not anymore. As looks like Inkswell will connect in the top lane. Staneko taking heavy damage. Madara gets off the stun. Oh, it's gonna be close. Barely first blood there as Peksu takes it for himself. So OG.Seed on the board very early.
Yeah, final note about the Bounty Hunter eggs. It's the fact that when fights go long, the amount of extra gold you get from just hitting shurikens on people that are tracked, and you get the Janata gold every time. It's just, it's kind of absurd. Watching those fights and just how his gold bank just went up and up and up from just being there was kind of, it's weird. It's honestly just weird to watch.
I love it. Weird is good in Dota, Syndran. I don't know if you've noticed that. It's not, I wouldn't say it's broken anymore. I mean, when they first implemented it, from their recent rendition, if you want to call it that, the talents were broken. That was like a plus 90 extra gold taken and the extra damage from shurikens. Those were both nerfed. So like from 90 to 65, that is a giant nerf, and it's still really good. So pretty cool to see. Madara top lane. Ooh, very nice stroke of fate there. Peksu gets a second kill for himself.
So similar to the last game, OG.Seed are off to a great start in the laning stage. They enforce this Monkey King versus Melee Hero matchup. They have a strong lane support to go with it. Last game was Snapfire, this time it's Grimstroke. They have a good mid matchup here with Chessie playing Viper against TA, absolutely destroying him, by the way. Supreme has been rolled in this mid lane. 13-0 against 22-17.
I mean, is that surprising? Viper
it is. I didn't
right?
think Viper was this favorite. I know it's a Viper favorite lane, but this is like crazy. He's doubling him up minute 4 on net worth almost. That is crazy without a kill.
Top
so
lane,
I think it's also
Inkswell
just
will connect again. Peksu pops the mango. And looks like they're going to get yet another kill onto this poorly Chen. He's 0-2 right now. And in this lane, they're 0-3 collectively.
What a weak lane. Chen Pango.
Yeah.
That is just weak, I think.
Well, we've talked a lot about how much I hate offlane Pango, Syndran, but this probably isn't his fault this time around.
Yes, we have. Well, it always takes two to tango, right? Like, if he was a strong core, maybe the Chen would look good. So
yeah, that's true.
I mean,
that's a good point. Very strong point. Chessie's actually going pretty deep here. Zoning out both Era, and they're actually going to find Supreme. He's already at half HP. They're going to get some poison on top of him, and this could be the he's gonna. Oh, it's gonna be close, but he finally goes down, and actually Pango dies in the top lane as well. So OG.Seed are completely dumpstering NiP in this early stage. So Staneko running away with a freaking gorilla that he has equipped. It's about the only thing they can write home about is their great cosmetics, Syndran, so far in this game.
Damn, savage. We showed up and we looked good, but that's it.
It's better than nothing. Z-Freak playing one of his better heroes, of course. His Earth Spirit is pretty disgusting to watch. So looking forward to see what he can do in this game. But 2K lead early on. And Era is the one basically playing mid right now as the TA is forced to jungle. About to hit level 4, and Chessie is level 6.5. That is real bad. This is looking like the games that we cast in the qualifying stage. Between these
last game, I think OG.Seed had a 5k gold lead minute. I want to say 10 or 12.
You're gonna have to hold your horses because Air is about. Never mind. Go ahead.
Yep, he's about to survive. Absolutely.
Well, Supreme's courier got killed, so he is not having a good time.
Is there anything going well for this
here.
guy in this game? Like anything?
Yeah, this is just. Like, if this was a pub, you would actually just feed down mid. Like, I've seen pros before. This is what they do to react to
when
this
you
kind
say
of
you
situation,
mean
right?
Some might, not I would. Because I never
everyone but... Well, Cinderin is like an oddball, right? You're an anomaly in the equation.
I thought you were going to use a bad word there.
What's a bad word? Give me
I don't know. I don't know where I was going.
Thanks.
I thought you were going to turn it into a negative thing. Like I'm a robot or something.
No, it's a good... Well, yeah, you are a bit of a robot.
Again.
Madara top lane. Yeah, another stun just in time. He will live. And Seneko will find Chessie, who has a haste rune. And this is going to be 9-2 to the advantage of OG.Seed. They took the tier 1 tower mid, which maybe works to Supreme's advantage because it gives him a little bit of space and can finally hit some creeps.
I don't think I've seen a mid lane lost this hard in 726 in a pro game, actually. Not yet.
726 has only been out like a week, so
726
that's not saying much.
Right?
Well, 720. Well, what? 726 has been a week.
Has it?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then
either
let's
way,
say,
we're talking about a few days,
okay?
Plus or minus. So plus or minus a couple months. Is that what you're?
726
what
plus minus 1 patch.
Okay, so 725. That's a long time.
Oh, that's really long.
Yeah. Well done. All right. Well, Saberlight is going to run into Z-Freak here. He has 5 stone remnants, so should be good to go. Madara. We're going to
Saberlight not
again. Yeah, we're going to try for him, but there's a TP support on the way.
Yeah.
It's off a swashbuckle. Charlie's going to come into the fray. He has treads. He has a wand. We'll be applying some pressure to Madara, but the Inkswell is there, and the initiation by Z-Freak. Inkswell will not connect, though. So Charlie able to... Oh my God! He's able to die, is what I was going to say.
He took... Wait, what level is Nether Toxin? Level 1.
That is...
Was that just a stroke? Was there a tick of something there? It looked like he took like 400 damage, but it was a level 2 Stroke of Fate. I don't know what it traveled through.
Stroke of Fate.
There's probably like an anthill on the way.
Yeah, micro buffs from Ice Frog. He puts ants in the map that you can't see so that Stroke of Fate does more damage. I enjoy those kind of patch notes.
I gotta say, man, I'm worried for NiP this game. I was last game as well after they lost the early stage, but I think this time their lineup has less comeback potential. I think you really need to enable your Pangolier now. If you're gonna win fights, it's gonna be off the back of this guy.
He was gonna get chased down here, Cinder. He has another swashbuckle in 3 seconds. A couple more cool sprays will do the job, but he's gonna get out in time with some support from his team, and will force the TP out.
Yeah, and he knows the only stun in the enemy lineup isn't level 6 yet. So there is none. He can just TP out every time.
Wow. I didn't even realize that. You're right.
Chen can have Mud Golem or a Troll or Centaur. That's the way they get a stun right now. So the play potential for NiP is just extremely limited. You need to group up and you need to get a Pango ulti. Pugna, Chen, and Pango and Weir. Actually, all 4 of them probably have to make a move together while TA farms. That's the other problem. You're playing a Chen strat that wants to group up with Chen Pugna, but then your mid hero is just not available right now. It's every fight Supreme joins will probably be worse than farming. His impact will be minimal, so he has to just look to hit creeps.
Oh, Charlie is trying to go for this outpost, but I do believe OG.Seed will get both at the 10-minute mark, so they won't even have that to write home about. Seneko looking for this top bounty rune. That ain't happening either, so I believe 3 out of 4 will go the way of OG.Seed. Just adding insult to injury.
They should be looking to get the bottom tower, and then maybe even the bottom tier too, honestly. They can play really aggressive here. Supreme is like, hey, I have a haste, I exist. And he has to back off.
The one time he can play a little bit aggressive is when he has the haste.
Oh, they're baiting. This is cool.
Z-Freak stun. Yep, the first ult coming out from the Pango is countered by Soulbind, so it works pretty much like we thought.
Just stun them.
And it looks like Pexu will get out in time, just barely. And with no kills going the way of NiP, this definitely favors OG.Seed, considering they got pretty much all the bounties and the outposts.
And they're pushing bot and mid. This was was that a flat-out 5-man rotation from an NiP that didn't get a kill? I think it was. Z-Freak
jump in. Z-Freak with his ult, magnetized, does connect on a couple of heroes. Saberlight's going to attempt to TP out. Will do so. Madara already used the Boundless Strike apparently, so still on cooldown here. They're going to focus their efforts onto Supreme. Z-Freak might fall first though as Charlie comes into the fray. Supreme looks like he will find his, let's see how many deaths. 3 deaths now to his name at 11 minutes. Just a super, super rough start. And I mean, we talked about how Viper was last picked against the TA, and TA is expected to lose that lane, but like you said, probably a little bit harder than we were expecting. Charlie is working on a Spirit Vessel for himself right now. So trying to find a counter to this this Bristleback. Yeah. Oh, we didn't even talk about the patch syndrome. Things like Scotty. What do you think about the Scotty change? That's pretty cool. Oh, so wait, you're going to have to hold your horses. Supreme might be dying again here. He's going to be completely surrounded. He just TP'd in. Inkswell will connect, and down he goes again. Madara will have to TP out. Looks like he'll be good to go. Charlie will chase down Peksu. See if he can get this kill. This would be at least something for them. It cost them their TA. Really needs to get this kill. Looks like he will.
Oh, the raindrop,
right click.
Raindrop didn't get off cooldown. Just almost gone.
Time lapse down he goes. The Era. Zibby is just like, tasty. I like. And Era will actually die because of this play. That was very odd.
Bristleback turned his back. I think he would have killed him over time by just standing there.
Yeah, something like that.
He pretty much out-regened the life drain with his Vanguard and Soul Ring, 15 HP regen per second. So it's rough. Like, you look at this game, I know I'm gonna sound like a broken record, but there really only is one big storyline in this game right now. One team is far ahead and has all the possibility to fight in the world, and the other team is really far behind and kind of largely needs to fight to get their way back into the game, but the type of fights they need to find are extremely difficult to find. Like the kind of setup that they're looking for and that type of fight is very... You kind of can't take a 5-on-5 unless everything just is nailed. Chen doesn't have a mech yet, so you don't have that. You're fully reliant on a great Pango roll and some sort of choke point. And OG.Seed know this. They know they're really far ahead. So they're going to spread the map thin. They're going to push all 3 lanes, play aggressively, and they know there's no stuns in the enemy team except the Pango. So every time they want to get out of there, they just get out of there. Just TP out.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to look at this from NiP's perspective and trying to think, what are they trying to do in the game now? Like, what is the call? And they've brought TA to a couple of plays, and that didn't work well. So now she's even further behind on farm than before. I mean, she could have been.
In the olden days, you would stack a bunch of creeps for Supreme, in this case the TA. But considering how much map control OG.Seed has, it's still, like, going for the Ancients is pretty much a no-go, I feel like. So that is technically one comeback mechanic for somebody like TA. I feel like it's one of the only ones, unless you can just get a really bad fight for OG.Seed.
Yeah. It almost needs to be self-inflicted at this point. OG.Seed need to overextend and go behind towers or whatever, or it doesn't feel like TA will find multiple kills in a fight right now. She has 2 Wraith Bands and Treads, minute 14. And he's going to rush Dagger. I honestly think that's fine here. I don't think the farm approach is going to work. You're losing control of the map too fast. You need some sort of tempo to try to get back.
Good roll in.
Gets Peksu.
Yep, nice kill.
Probably going to die for it, though.
Saberlight with the solo. Madara will jump on him, has a Boundless Strike. And the Jingu has activated. He is disarmed, but no more. Oh, gets another swashbuckle off. He's wasting a lot of time, so a nice play from Saberlight. Attempt to TP up, that was a little bit ambitious.
Oh, I hope Z-Freak would roll over Madara's tree there. That would have been good. But no.
So, going back to the patch notes here, since we are seeing the Spirit Vessel being built on the Weaver, definitely a nerf overall. Even if you're... So before it worked where it just did the negative regeneration or whatever applied to the actual... the dot, if you will, from the Spirit Vessel itself. Now that's significantly less, and there's a component where I guess you could say this is a buff in some cases where it works as a negative aura. But even if you combine them, it's less than before.
If you think of the math,
it's worse on
right?
certain heroes now, right? But
the old one was 60, And the new one is 20 plus 35. So 20 aura, 35 on the single targets. That's 55 if they stack additively. And it costs 250 gold more and does not give wind blaze anymore. So it doesn't give move speed. So say in most cases it's a worse item, but against certain things it's pretty nice against Chen, right? Like having an aura, so everybody that gets healed less instead of just one guy. It's pretty nice actually against that hero. But most of the time Vessel was bought, it was like a hard counter to one guy, like Morphling, Alchemist, you name it, right? And in those situations it's a worse item. So.
Well, it's kind of cool on Weaver though, because the aura is gonna, like you said, apply to everyone, and he's able to get in and out pretty easily. On a consistent basis.
At the same time,
in theory,
though,
I can understand it, but in this game, is that going to help that much?
I mean, they need it against Bristle Viper, right? The problem is, if you're buying this item on Weaver, who's going to kill the heroes that you Vessel? How are they dying? A TA dagger? I'm not seeing it, man. Like, where's all the damage coming from if Weaver goes utility build? It's hard to see it. OG.Seed have identified, you know what? We're mega strong. We're just going to go high ground. They don't even have the Aegis. They don't care.
Yep.
They
No
put in the
Roche in their
Bristle.
pocket. Charlie's coming in. Saberlight pops his ult. Seeing the bugs applied to Viper here. Actually has a Spirit Vessel applied as well. He's actually pretty low. Maybe hoping he had the Aegis. There's a Monkey King ult being used very defensively. Soulbind used in conjunction. Z-Freak jumps in, but to no avail. And OG.Seed might need to just back up here, as Chessie is still ridiculously low. And I'm not seeing any... Do they not have a mech yet on anybody? Doesn't look like it. So no ways to heal, no urn, anything like that. No sustain of any kind. Unless you want to call Hedris sustain at this stage of the game. Z-Freak does find Charlie with his ult, but not sure he's going to be able to do much more than that. Oh man, Supreme caught off guard. They're going to apply all their pressure to him. He's going to come back into the fray, but will die immediately after. And now Zibby and company will apply more pressure, this time to Saberlight, who has a swashbuckle up, but is silenced, and they'll find that kill as well. So it's a 2 for nothing. What looked like a retreat for OG.Seed ends up being something that was much so in their favor.
Yeah, they reset,
I feel like
and then
TA
they
just
have
went
the play
up that
potential.
hill with zero vision.
Yeah, I don't know what the idea was with frontlining TA. Did, by the way, go back for the Deso instead of the dagger. So now has the damage, but now no mobility. You can't... That's the draft problem as well, right? The frontlining. You can't run up the TA first into enemy territory like this. It's suicide, I think, to make this move like this. It obviously didn't work out. But the problem is, what happened beforehand outside of the enemy base was Pango tried to engage with the roll. If they don't combine on this roll and get kills, that's their catch out of the window. So yeah, it looked like OG.Seed had to back off, but they just reset, take the high ground, and then they have all of the play potential on their side. Every move that's going to happen is kind of they're in charge of it. And TA tried to brute force one. Not a thing. Just not a thing there.
Well, Madara level 13 on the Monkey King has the Echo Saber. We'll be going the Radiance build. Do you go Ags after that? Is that the typical go-to? Not including a BKB potentially.
I don't think you need X or a BKB in this game, right? As the Monkey King, there's so little you're worried about. There's only Decrepify and Pango, so I think stat items are great. Could even consider the new Scotty if you wanted to try that out after the Radiance.
Oh yeah.
But
what do you think of the new Scotty, by the way?
I'm not the biggest fan of the design of giving it what it has, but I mean, let's see, right? How good it turns out to be. I think many people were asking for the game to have more ways of limiting healing than just the Spirit Vessel and AA ult and Silver Edge, and then Silver Edge lost it. Oh, nice TP from Chen.
Almost, yeah.
So I like the fact that there's another way of reducing healing, but I don't know if it should be on Scotty.
I kind of understand where they're going with it, because late game, everyone was going Satanic. Literally everyone. Nobody would go Scotty, it feels like. This is a way to try to balance that a bit. As Pango was trying to go for the outpost here at the top, we'll have to roll out to safety. I mean, yeah, that's one of those things you just have to look at the games and with a large sample size and see how it actually works out. I don't hate the idea, though. Scotty's one of my favorite items of all time, Cinderin. But by the way, the Aghanims on Monkey King, have they not... apparently it's a feature. Do you know how it works on Roche? You can literally solo Roche and not get attacked.
Yeah, you can sit in the... What is it? Can you sit in one of the trees?
No, you literally just stand next to him. He doesn't attack. Unless they fixed that in the last like.
I remember Gabe
so,
Newell saying in an interview his favorite hero is tanking, but he might have changed.
What? What are you talking about?
Maybe his favorite hero is Monkey King now. So then he wants to kill Roche.
I was hoping for some actual analysis on if that's broken or not, but instead we're going to hear your garbage. And tier 2 is killed in the bot lane.
Bad question, bad answer. That's how it goes.
I'm just confused why people aren't abusing this. It feels like it's a free Roche.
It takes really long,
you have to get it,
doesn't it?
Yeah, you need like 2 or 3 items first. This is true.
I thought you were going to say you need 2 or 3 minutes to kill him.
That too. I mean, in low-level pubs, it's amazing, guys. You got to try it. We're going to have a smoke, gank, wrap around here from NiP. This could be a last stand, potentially, if we don't get a good fight here. A nice ult from Saberlight, but there is the Soulbind onto 2. Looks like Grimstroke is going to be the first to fall. Monkey King ult being used to full effectiveness here, zoning everybody out. Saberlight, or Supreme, I should say, and Seneko on the other side of the map. Not sure if they want to be there. Z-Freak is forced to roll out to safety. Looks like Supreme will be the next on the list. The mech keeping him alive just a little bit longer, along with the Hand of God. It's going to be really close. Madara able to take him out, though. It's a 2-for-1. Nice stomp from the Centaur before it drops to its inevitable death, as Monkey King Madara has a Spirit Vessel apply. The Aegis will be used. See if they can get more out of this, as Era continue to heal up Saberlight. Looks like he has too many stacks to deal with, though. Oh, wait a second. All right, Decrepify not enough as the Boundless Strike finishes them off. So it's a 3-for-1, which looked like an okay fight to start for NiP. Ends up being not so much.
I don't think the fight can start much better than them getting a full-on backstab with the Pango ult and the Soulbind not connecting on Pango. He cast it on 2 other heroes instead of connecting it on that Pangolier. But the Aegis advantage, the relative advantage, and just the lineup right now is a lot to chew through. I think that was a good effort from NiP, though. I like what they did. I think you have to do something like this in that moment. But, you know, 1 item extra there, and the outcome could have been totally different.
Yeah.
But they don't have
Supreme. Yeah, they get the tower, but no racks to fall. Right. I mean, it's still relatively early, so
I have a quiz for you, or you need to guess here.
Okay.
What do you think the win expectancy is right now with a 7k lead minute 23?
Well, I can't cheat because I don't even know what the hockey is. I'm going to say OG.Seed at 95%.
99. Okay, here's the fight.
Okay, thank you, Cinderin, for that great analysis.
Oh, nice Centaur Stomp.
Jumps in. Yeah, Centaur Stomp got a few heroes there that might have saved Saberlight's life in all likelihood. Or maybe not. Gets decrepified. Ooh, actually gets netted up the hill. He's going to get healed a bit by Era, and the onslaught will continue for OG.Seed. The Pugna Ward is down. It's about to go out, though. The uptime on the Nether Ward is actually ridiculously high. It's only like 4-second downtime. Did not know.
Yeah, and it used to be on all levels until this patch.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Went from 30 to 18 melee on level 1. And then scaling up linearly with +4 per level. So... something, you know what, I kind of want to finish off on this Spirit Vessel talk, because I think it's going to be an item that a lot of people will be talking about in this patch, since it was like the most changed item in a way. So we talked about how the net total is 55 compared to the old 60, and then you don't get the Windlace anymore. But the problem is, since the 20% is an aura, if the guy carrying the vessel gets forced out of the fight, right, then it's 35. You can't just say it's 5% less, because, you know... in this case, say it's the Weaver. Let's say Weaver dies or gets pressured, then whoever you applied Vessel to is like half as good as before. So I think it's a really big nerf. Like it's
for the most part, I think it's a huge nerf. But I think on certain heroes that don't usually buy it, it could be better in certain instances, right? But not that many.
Most of the time, though, most of the time the Vessel here, most of the time in general, heroes aren't in the epicenter of the fight.
Oh, the silence onto Pango, and he's dead. He does have buyback and still has his ult to work with. Netherward is down, but it'll be back up in 5 seconds. But this is going to be
no wave.
Backdoor protection.
Charlie and the Chen boys mid got it done. Charlie and the boys.
Can they get this? No, it doesn't look like a thing. They back up. And out they go.
I wonder what OG.Seed were waiting for there. They just stayed for like 15 seconds. If they waited a bit longer, would get it.
Just waiting for those stacks on Bristleback, you know? I feel like he can do it. So. They had confidence. Well, BKB is now done on Charlie. He has 0 charges on his Spirit Vessel. I mean, that's another thing. If you have 0 charges, at least it does something. right? Without charges.
That's a good point. Yeah, it's better without charges. That's very true.
BKB, I believe, was being
I think that's a good thing to plan for when you buy a Vessel. You're like, we're not going to get kills this game, so I will buy Vessel.
Well, okay, this is mostly for pubs and not high-level play, Cinder, but there's a lot of times
No, but it's
your
a fair
teammates
point,
get stuck with
honestly.
zero
Sometimes
charge.
you just don't have charges on it, and then it still does something. That's fair. Especially when you're playing the hero with the Vessel.
I literally never buy Vessel, and you know that, so...
Yeah, then you have
that's
zero
a different
charges.
kind of zero charges. That's not quite the same. And we have the EG courier here for OG.Seed, it looks like.
Yep,
One
it's
of
called
the ugliest
Throw.
couriers in the game. Yep, Throw, spelled with OE, I believe.
Yep.
Era, he's gonna get jumped. Madara has the Boundless Strike, is waiting to bide his time. Actually, doesn't wait long enough as the Decrepify now. Well, actually, that's a Ghost Scepter on top of the Decrepify.
Z-Freak
And
exploring
Era
the forest.
A lot of misspells there, but they'll find the kill one way or the other. TA, by the way, did have the Mithril Hammer, so I believe is just rushing the BKB, but could buy the Blink Dagger and 100 gold, so we'll see what he chooses if they apply pressure here in the mid lane. Might just need to give this up. Not sure they can even fight. Very, very tanky boys. Bristleback has the Pipe and Crimson. Madar, like we talked about, Radiance is already up. And is going for the BKB, so we're not going to see any solo Roches anytime soon, Synderen. Really sad. That actually does take several minutes.
I don't think we will see another Roche in this game, so it doesn't really matter. Because now it's time for the Hail Mary hold. Let's see.
Yes, they have to go. BKB is complete on the TA. See if you can use it to full effect or not. Zibby is just chilling here. Oh, Pango faking his ult.
Oh, good damage.
Yeah, he's at half HP, yeah. He has the gem right now, so they'll be able to see Weaver, no problem. And they might want to play this safe, considering how game one went. I feel like maybe they just wait for Roche and just not take any chances.
That's true. They could. I mean, it's up in 2 minutes, so... Yeah. I don't think... This isn't one of those games where slow playing it hurts you a lot, I think. It's completely fine. Their lineup scales very nicely. They have full map control. They're not very much at risk of, oh, we're going to split up to the farm and then getting massive casualties. I think if they make a misstep, maybe they lose like 1 or 2 heroes, but that's it. So it's relatively safe to just slow play this if you want. Charlie?
Charlie's working on a Divine Rapier, by the way. That's quite ambitious. I don't think... Oh! Looks like
they got it.
Will use his ult, get stuck in the corner that I always get stuck in. I feel you, brother. Why is that there?
You also
Why
kill illusions with your ulti, right?
That I don't do. I don't bother with illusions. No.
Okay.
This will be the first time I've seen a hero with 0 damage items go like straight for Divine. Like a utility build, survivability build, if he ends up getting it. It looks like Pugna, Era will die yet again. And he does not have buyback, so this is a 5v4 defense. They're not waiting for Roche. No reason to now that you have the number advantage. Soulbind onto 2. TA already popped the BKB earlier, it looks like. They're going to jump right in, kick him back into the Monkey King ult, and he is dead for 50 seconds, no buyback, and GG's come out. A very one-sided game for OG.Seed after losing the first game. Surprisingly so, to NiP. But it looks like we're going to a game 3. Panel was correct, Cinder.
Omega GG, what kind of thing is that from Zip? It's just